Harriet Tubman was born in 1820, March 10, 1913. She was an African-American abolitionist, humanitarian, and Union spy during the Civil War. Her official name is Armontaria Harriet Ross. The Underground Railroad was not underground, and it was not an actual railroad. The reason it was called underground is because of the fact that it was a giant secret. No one could know or hear about it, just as if something was underground. It was called a railroad because that's how they transported slaves from their homes to free land, just as railroads transport goods and people. Since Harriet was a slave herself, she was loaned out to different plantations, and by the time she turned 12, she was working in the fields. She was in an accident that affected her for the rest of her life. A heavy iron weight that was meant to be thrown at another slave hit Harriet in the head. From that, she had very bad headaches along with other illnesses for the rest of her life. In 1844, Harriet married a free black named John Tubman. In 1849, in fear, she, along with other slaves on the plantation, was told to be sold. Tubman decided to run away. Harriet followed the North Star by night, making her way to Pennsylvania and soon after to Philadelphia, where she worked and saved her money. By the next year, she returned to Maryland and escorted her sister and her sister's 2 children to freedom. She made several dangerous trips back to the South and soon after to rescue her brother and 2 other men. Unfortunately, on her 3rd trip to find her husband, she found out that he had been taken to another wife, and therefore she was left heartbroken. Tubman returned to the South again and again. She devised clever techniques that helped her make her journey successful. Slaves wanted to escape to freedom because they didn't like working for their owners. When the slaves did escape, they needed food and shelter. Free people would risk their lives and help these slaves. They risked their lives because it was illegal to help slaves. These nice helpers would allow slaves into their houses, which was not allowed by law, in order to protect them. Her legendary status as an Underground Railroad conductor earned her the nickname Moses. The name Moses comes from the Bible, leading people to freedom. It is a name she definitely lived up to in all her years. In total, it is estimated that between 40,000 and 100,000 slaves reached freedom by using the Underground Railroad. Many of these slaves most likely passed through Ohio by using the Underground Railroad, which had been the most direct route to Canada. About 60,000 slaves crossed the Ohio state line to freedom between 1812 and 1860. From 1851 to 1857, Harriet lived mostly north of the border in St. Catharines, Canada. She continued to make trips to Maryland twice a year to free slaves. Her efforts made her a wanted woman with a bounty on her head, but she was never turned in. She was not only known as the Great Liberator, but she also assisted the Union Army. She got asked by the government to support the Union and help organize a union of spies among black men in the South. Harriet Tubman's bravery and determination allowed her to accomplish incredible things throughout her amazing life. She is someone who changed our perception of what equality and liberation and civil rights really means. Harriet Tubman died on March 10, 1913 at age 93 in Auburn, New York.